I've heard so many people say that Ultra Gogeta Blue should have been the one to get a plat for Legends 7th Anniversary After Party, but honestly, I disagree. Hey, Grimmy here, and the reason behind it? Well, this is why Ultra Gogeta Blue never deserved a Platinum equipment. Before we go too deep into my take on things, I'd like to highlight that community take, as there's some truth to it. Rework desperately needed. Ultra Gogeta Blue released back during Legends Festival 2022, around 2.5 years ago, and so that makes him a pretty old unit. Probably like a fan favorite. So the fact that the character is old, I think it's fair for some fans to actually ask for a rework for the character. At the time of release, he was definitely a dominant character, especially with this iconic counter, right? Probably like one of the most nostalgic characters, the whole... And there were like videos of it everywhere. No other character who has an auto counter actually had such an impact, right? Because the character on release was just so toxic. It was just, the character was so unstoppable, so hard to actually kill, and that auto counter was something that we've never actually seen before. And it was so hard to work around with the other characters that we already owned. And now he's trash. Wrecked by everyone, power crept at every turn, and basically trash, not worth considering in the current meta. And especially now with all the yellow units running around, right? Super Saiyan Goku, Ultra Majin Vegeta, even Beast Gohan to some extent. And honestly, he's barely, or not even, a top 20 Ultra today. The way this guy was unstoppable early on, beloved later down the line, before falling off further and further as the game entered the more modern unit design era of today, it's honestly quite tragic. And I think it's totally fair to assume that he deserved the plat more than anyone. The way this character's sob story is being told, right? It's pretty clear that he's a character who deserves a rework, who, as an Ultra, deserves a Platinum equipment to put them back on the map to kind of restore their position in the meta. But I guess it's my turn to step up and state my case. Platinum equipment, undeserved. First of all, there was no real prior conversation when it came to Ultra Gogeta Blue getting a Platinum equipment. It all really started when the game actually announced that there was going to be a character receiving a Platinum equipment, and at that point people were all kind of like, oh, it's probably like Ultra Gogeta Blue. But before that, there wasn't really any like push from the community, for the devs specifically, to rework Ultra Gogeta Blue and put him back in the meta. You'd be surprised how often the devs actually take a knee and give up on plans and choose to actually put the community first when it comes to designing and reworking characters. Just look at LF Gogeta Blue and his Zenkai back in like whichever Legends Festival it was. And so it's kind of weird how all of a sudden Gogeta Blue's the only character who really deserves that Platinum equipment, only after the devs announced that there was going to be an Ultra getting a Platinum equipment at all. Like, it's almost kind of an unfair position to put the devs in. And from there, there's no real thematic connection. Obviously, nothing to do with Goku and Rivals, like unless you're talking about, you know, Goku and Vegeta fusing, which I guess isn't really much of a Rivals theme at that point. And I guess you could take a Fusion Warriors theme if you look at Ultra Super Vegito, who actually got the plat, and Kefla, who just dropped. Yeah, I mean, Fusion Warriors, I guess, would work, even though obviously with these two characters, it's obviously more of a Patara vibe. But they're older Ultra units. Think of the free-to-play Ultras. Super Saiyan Goku, Dirty Fireworks Vegeta, Ultra Super Vegito, and Kid Buu. Like, these are older characters released before Gogeta Blue, and ones who are obviously more deserving of a rework. And the reason I say that is because if Gogeta Blue actually gets reworked now, the units older than him will be better than him by the time they get theirs. As an example, just as a quick example, let's look at Ultra Super Vegito and Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Back then, I remembered when Legendary Super Saiyan Broly first released, and I even made like a YouTube short back in like the early days of my channel, where it actually took me 2 Rising Rushes with Ultra Super Vegito to actually kill Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. He was that tanky, right? It was a character without endurance. He was that like defensively strong, resilient, and just unkillable. Look at the way the tables have turned now. Legendary Super Saiyan Broly was one of the earliest summonable Ultras to actually get a Platinum equipment. Compare that to Ultra Super Vegito, who just recently got a Platinum equipment, and the story's completely flipped. Right? Ultra Super Vegito can easily blow Legendary Super Saiyan Broly.
What do you mean by that?
Out of the water. And in no way does Legendary Super Saiyan Broly with his Platinum equipment have any way of really surviving Ultra Super Vegito with his Platinum equipment, despite the fact that he was released after Super Vegito. And that's the thing with Gogeta Blue here. If Gogeta Blue receives a platinum equipment now, or in place of Ultra Super Vegito, I guess, now that, you know, we already know who it is, then that means that Ultra Kid Buu and Ultra Super Vegito will get their platinum equipment later. And that would mean that Ultra Gogeta Blue would be weaker than him. Weaker, a damage guard, and additional damage inflicted, which to me is already such a huge factor put into play, again with the difference of power between Ultra Super Vegito and Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. And the same thing was going to happen if Gogeta Blue was going to get his plat first for the after party. Because then that would mean that, like, say for example, Legends Festival 2025, we get the Ultra Super Vegito plat instead. Then all of a sudden a new yellow unit, basically an old yellow unit with a completely new kind of mint condition rework, is all of a sudden just 6 months ahead of Gogeta Blue. That's really like one of the biggest points that I have. Same thing with Kid Buu. Right? Kid Buu is also a yellow unit, so naturally countering Ultra Gogeta Blue's color. And so what that means is that if Gogeta Blue gets his plat before Kid Buu, then by the time Kid Buu gets his plat, he'll actually be able to wreck Gogeta Blue, and I'm almost certain of it. And so I do think that these characters actually deserve more of a rework. The main point that I'm trying to bring up is that it's better if these characters actually received a rework in the order of their release. Even though that would make it a bit predictable, and sure, it doesn't need to be like exactly matching the order of release, but the order of the characters getting a rework is such a huge factor that determines their value moving forward. So any character who's like a lot newer but received their platinum equipment first will automatically be worse than a character who is much older but received their platinum equipment later. Right, that's the key idea behind these reworks, right? The key idea behind platinum equipments is to just put these characters back on the map. But in the order that they're being put, it decides how good they are. And so right now, I just don't think it's the right time for Gogeta Blue. Not only did the community not really have any conversation going off of like Ultra Gogeta Blue being the unit most deserving of a platinum equipment, pushing the devs in any way prior to the platinum equipment announcement to actually give this man a rework, and then having no thematic connection really with the 7th anniversary or even the after party as we're seeing right now. At least not as strong as the one that we see with Ultra Super Vegito, who actually got his plat. And then there are older Ultra units, ones who not only deserve more of a rework, but ones who actually need to be reworked before him if you want Gogeta Blue to actually be good again. And you know, I think it doesn't really matter what arguments I decide to level in this video. You may still think that Ultra Gogeta Blue deserved the platinum equipment for this part of the celebration more than anyone. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the facts are there. The way I've seen the meta evolve as, you know, these Ultra characters get their platinum equipments, specifically the summonable Ultras, this just isn't his time. And I think that brings us to the conclusion. A positive outlook. I don't want to make it seem like I'm against Gogeta fans specifically, making it seem as if Gogeta Blue never actually deserves a platinum equipment ever. Like, I don't think that's true. Right? I definitely want to see this guy get a rework for Legends Festival 2025, 100%. And I don't want people to think that this is like Vegito fandom propaganda either. I just really don't want to see Gogeta Blue return to the meta with a plat before being immediately snuffed out by other units, be it newer modern ones or older ones to get a rework after, like I said before, with the several yellow units who are much older than him. The truth is, I just want Gogeta Blue to be good at the right time. I don't think that's right now, especially with all the yellow units running around. And I'm pretty sure that what I want here is something that is in everyone's best interest. Personally, I want to see him get a guaranteed Ultra banner like Ultra Super Vegito, but for Legends Festival 2025 instead. Because that would be insanely hype, that would definitely give like extra credit to the devs 100%, and by that point, hopefully he'll actually get his platinum equipment. And going back to the guaranteed banner, right? If you want to know why I think that banner format is the biggest W for Ultra summons in the game, the video is on your left. And for extra proof, if you want to know how Gogeta Blue stacks up compared to the rest of the Ultras in the game right now, check out my ranking of every single Ultra in the game on your right. And yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Bye, thanks for watching, never stay perfect, always get better. Peace.